Just a heads up, if you were somebody working towards a particular professional goal, whether that's a career or building a business of some sort to a certain level, and you feel like you're lagging behind in the sense that you feel there's a lot more potential within you that you can really be pulling out and tapping into to help you take advantage of more opportunities and whatnot, I have a good feeling this episode would be good for you because I'm even implementing what's being shared here thanks to our guest, bringing light to topics that he's been focusing on heavily for the last month that he feels has really contributed to heavily increasing his income as a remote sales professional. So if that sounds interesting, continue listening in. And if it doesn't, maybe I'll see you next week. Welcome back, peeps. We are back with another episode and another special person on board named Kenneth Luu, going short for Kenny. And for those of you
Kenny
who don't
boy.
know him that much, um, this is a guy who's been in the whole make money online thing for a while. In fact, he started off trading for about 4 years, I believe, and admittedly didn't really see much out of it, but he didn't stop there. He made a career switch, and now he's in a position where he's literally going to a 30-day mastermind out in Medellin in the next couple weeks. So I think where I want to start for you, Kenny, is do you feel like the career, like the career itself, is mainly responsible for you getting your success now, or do you feel like there's something else that takes a larger percentage?
First of all, appreciate the intro, Sammy. Um,
Yeah.
the that's a good question to start it off. I think definitely it wasn't the career itself. I mean, like for me, to find a lot of success in like whatever we do, like make money online. For me, I learned that it was a lot of like character development that I actually had to go through, like a lot of inner game that I had to practice and develop in order for me to actually get good. Like, not, it wasn't the career itself. It was definitely like you had to focus on your self-esteem, your character, your mindset, and then your skill set is also, of course, it's also very important, but like I feel like a lot of the other things doesn't get talked about at all.
Sure. When you look back in like your days trading, what do you feel like was like one of the biggest things that you were holding yourself back about that you had to resolve?
I think the biggest thing that was holding me back was that when I was trading, I only wanted to win. I actually made a. I'm going to be making video about this on my YouTube channel, but
Okay.
I only wanted to win, and especially in trading, like you have to take the losses and the wins together because everybody knows that like you're not going to be winning every single day. As long as you're winning more than you're losing, and that's like a lesson I actually have to take and learn because I only wanted to win and not lose. And so like anytime I lost, like I was having like these battles with myself and just couldn't accept the fact that I was losing. Like don't get me wrong, I hate to lose. That's why it was a gift and a curse as well because I hated to lose so much. I didn't really know how to deal with it and how to accept it. So it wasn't really until I started learning how to do that, let go of that, then I was really able to like, anything that I do moving forward, it's like if it doesn't go as planned, I don't really see it as a failure, just take it as a lesson. And it's not hard for me to do that anymore because of like all the lessons I had to learn from trading.
Mm, okay.
Well,
How, yeah, how do you, and this is just for people listening, like, how did you learn to like let go of the way that you used to deal with like failures and losses like that?
Um, first is being aware that, this is something that you have to do. Like, first of all, it has to be something I'm conscious of. And don't get me wrong, it's not something that like you can just do like overnight. And then like that's what I used to think. I always ask myself the question like how the fuck do I let go? How do I just do this? How do I just let go so that I don't have to like hold on to my fear of losing, etc. But it's honestly like a muscle that you need to practice, just like going to the gym, working out. Like Sam, I know you're doing a planche right now that you're trying to work on,
That's my
right?
goal.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, like something that you have to practice every single day. And for me, like I just had to practice letting go every single day. Like first of all, I had to be aware of it, consciously aware of it, and then just practice letting go,
Mm.
like through meditation, visualization, manifestation.
And on that, because that was very interesting. Like when we had a conversation yesterday, preparing ourselves for this call with you, one thing that was super important to me to actually understand is like how do you become aware? Like when do you catch yourself, or maybe before you even catch yourself, how did you practice becoming more aware of those negative thoughts? Like really going on that negative path in your head, like thinking, oh, it's just failures, failures, and how do you turn it back onto the positive?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, um, like I watched a lot of like Joe Dispenza, and then he was talking about like how a lot of the times like we're pretty much moving on autopilot, right? A lot of the things that we do is just pure out of habit, and like we just do things um just on autopilot. It's not something like we think
Yeah.
about. Everything's on routine. So like, how do you catch yourself? Well, for me, like I did a lot of meditation. So that's one thing that really helped me change things because that allowed me to become more conscious of my thoughts, and then I'd be able to catch certain like negative patterns, negative thought behaviors and patterns, and I'd be able to catch myself. And when I'm able to catch myself, I have the chance to correct myself and like fix that thought, and then I'm literally repeating that process over and over and over again so then I can change my way of thinking. Because there's a saying that says like your words become your actions become your habits become your personality, right? And then your personality, your character then becomes your destiny and ends up becoming like who you're going to be tomorrow.
Yeah. And when you
And did
say, sorry, go on, Freddie.
no, I was just going to ask on the Joe Dispenza. Did you do his course online, Kenny? Did you?
I didn't do his course, to be
Oh,
honest.
did
I
you not?
just yeah, I did
No,
a
because
lot of the free a lot of free content on podcasting.
okay, no worries. I'm doing his course now at the moment, and it's a pretty big game changer. And I kind of just wanted to bring it back to something you mentioned earlier on, because a lot of focus is just on like the outside stuff, skill sets, offers, networking, whatever it is. When was the shift for you that you noticed your internal game actually changing? And I guess how did it affect your ability to actually show up on the calls?
Yeah, so I started noticing it because I started asking myself, like, there's there's so many people who go through trainings, like we've all been through trainings together, and like we all invest in the same trainings. We're all provided the same tools, the same principles, the same skill sets, the same word tracks, everything. I'm like, how the fuck do some people get really good with the exact same process and systems that we get? And then there's someone like me, I'm coming in and I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm like, bro, like, what is the difference?
Yeah,
Like,
I
how
know
does
that
that
feeling.
work?
Hmm.
Like, how are you guys making 20K and I'm still here? I've been around longer than they have, but I'm still making like 4 or 5K. I'm like, bro, how does that work? So then I started looking at it. I'm like, hold on. Like, besides opportunity, besides networking, besides all of that, it really is like your inner game. It's confidence, it's your self esteem, it's how you see yourself. Because we're all taught to say the same words, but then it's how you say it. And then it's also how you deliver it, right? And being able to deliver it with the confidence and conviction. In order for you to do that, like you have to make sure that you got that inner peace with yourself. Like that inner game is dialed down to the T.
Yeah. And for sure, I completely relate to that now because that's like a transition I'm going through myself because I'm heavily invested into Joe stuff now. Because I know there's so many mindset things that I had like issues with limiting beliefs, self-confidence, self-esteem. Besides, so any one of our listeners who's actually listened to this podcast, I'm sure they're going to be struggling with confidence or low self-esteem, or they don't want to ask the hard questions because they don't want to upset someone. So besides just, watching his free content or just being more aware of their thoughts, was there anything that you done practically that someone listening today can actually take away?
Yeah, 100%. Like literally practical actionable steps is like when I'm not on calls or anything, rather than like doom scrolling on Instagram or watching YouTube videos, I'd actually just go, I'd lie down, I close my eyes and I literally meditate on visualizing and manifesting like the person that I need to be, who I see myself when I'm successful. Like how do I show up on calls? How do I convey myself? How do I conduct myself? How do I challenge people? I'm literally closing my eyes and I'm imagining all of this. So then when I'm actually jumping on these calls, it's literally second nature. I might have not practiced it like in real life yet, but I practice it so many times up here. So then when I get on these calls, like it's so repetitive, it's so easy. And what honestly, I actually didn't start doing this until like a month ago. That's when I really started changing everything because I started doing this a month ago, and I'm like, bro, I feel so much more confident. Like it's crazy. And then I
Yep.
had that one call where I was objection handling like the Indian guy. I posted it on my
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yep.
Like that got a lot of traction. So then I'm like, bro, this is my like I gotta stop pushing off like branding and content because like there's only one person that really went hard with it, which is Christian Jack. When Bill told us to all fucking start doing it like a few months back, Christian was
Yeah.
the only one that kept doing it consistently. So I
Yep.
posted that one video, it was getting traction. I'm like, bro, like let me ride this momentum because
Exactly.
this is God coming in and telling me, like, do your thing now. Like, here's your opportunity. So I just started running away with it.
So there's something I do want to point out, and this is a thought that I have. So I know someone else is thinking the same thing. When when fitting something like meditation into your day, it it does feel like an extra task, you know? So I feel that a lot of people may think that they just don't have enough time for something like that. You know what I mean? Like what would you have to say against something like that?
I mean, if you actually think about it logically, there's a lot of dead space in our days where, like, we are wasting a lot of time on scrolling on social media and like watching YouTube videos and like just doing things that are not productive. So like meditation doesn't even have to take that long. You know, it can be 10 minutes, it can be 15 minutes. Like everybody has at least 10 minutes in between calls. And essentially what we're just doing is replacing non-productive activities with meditation or with something that's productive. Right? So like but here's what I got to say. Like if you're telling me that meditation is another fucking task, then this is probably not the game for you, bro. Like you got to make time for it. You got to actually commit to it if you want to get good and set yourself apart from everybody else. Like you can't come with the excuses and be like, "Yo, I don't know if like this is just too much time, this is another task." Like you either fucking do it or you don't do it at all.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Kenny. And when Sam, you said that, because I've been meditating now for like about a year or so. There was a quote that a monk put out. It's like, if you think you're too busy to do meditation, you should do an hour-long meditation. So you should basically do more. Because like we're so especially with being online, your brain is destroyed with dopamine, closing deals, likes, comments, who liked my post, who shared my post. Your brain just wants them quick hits. So like I completely agree with what Kenny's saying, and it's so important to find like you only need like 20 minutes a day. Carve out 20 minutes in the morning before you open your phone or you open your laptop, sit down, focus on your breathing, center yourself. And then something I've actually been doing recently myself is when you have a bad call and you're like, shit, I could have closed him or I messed up here, and then you're jumping straight into another one, just like close your eyes, start up Zoom and leave him in the waiting room for like 2 or 3 minutes and just focus on your breath, center yourself because it will do a lot and it will actually reduce a lot of the anxiety that some people feel on calls. Just my 2 cents.
Mm,
100%. Absolutely. I agree with that. That's spot on.
I think what I wanted to ask Kenny is like the habits, because meditating, you know, putting down a lot of the scrolling, etc., putting down the instant dopamine rush. Is that coming from the visualization aspect of like being the person that you want to be and just trying to adapt the sort of activities that that person would be doing, the habits that that successful Kenny, well, even more successful Kenny would be doing? Or where does that come from?
100%. Yeah. I just think about, so like, I mean, I do a lot of reflecting every day, right? So I think about, we all want certain things. Like we all want to be successful in terms of time, money, freedom, etc. But these
Yeah.
are all like the what is so easy to figure out because we all have like some sort of desire. But like, I saw this quote, like we all want things, but like in order for us to get to where we want to be, like who do we have to become so that we can actually get there? Right? So that's exactly what I think about. But then I even correct myself. Like I don't even talk about in the frame of like who do I want to be. I think about who I am in order to be successful. Because if you want to be a certain someone, it means you're not there yet. I said this in one of my videos too. Like I never say, "Oh, I want to be this person." I just say I am. Or I think about the person that I am because if I want to be, then like I'm telling myself I'm not that person right now subconsciously. So even like the subtle little nuances, the differences of like how we think of ourselves. But that's literally what I focus on now. It's like, okay, this is what I want in life. This is how successful I want to be. Now, this is how I'm going to act and convey myself, etc. This is how I'm going to be on calls, outside of calls, etc. Like, this is
It's
what
just a self-fulfilling prophecy, to be honest.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like I'm literally seeing it up here, believing it before I actually see it in real life. And I noticed that a lot of like the highest performing athletes, they preach the same things. It's all the same things, but
Yeah.
just reworded differently. It's all the same principles that they follow. Like Conor McGregor in his documentary, like he was talking about manifestation and visualization. He was talking about like, he was like, I like a reporter asked him like, where do you want to be in 5 years? Like, I don't want to be anywhere. I am the champ. And he wasn't even the fucking champ yet. He
Yeah, I know
wasn't
that
even the
video.
champ. Like he just got signed by the UFC and he was like, I'm the champ. Because he saw it up here. Like you got to see it in your head and then bend reality to your vision.
How
Beside,
does one bend the reality? Is it just acting like that person that already has it? Because just because I know one thing that people can say is immediately, and I'm sure you don't feel that way. Visualization in itself does nothing without the action, right? But then it's like you visualize yourself, but you also act on the person that you already see yourself being. Is that
100%.
kind of
Yeah, it all comes together. Like I can visualize and dream all I want, but I can just be a freaking pipe dream if like I don't do anything. I just lay in my bed all
yeah.
day. So it comes from action. It comes like both ways. Like I gotta, but like I don't also want to just do and then don't think and and don't visualize. Right? Then I don't know where I'm going. So it just all
Exactly.
comes together, making sure that like you visualize, manifest, but then also act on it as well.
yeah, and that's so true. And I guess just a little side tangent to what we were talking about. I seen you drinking from that hydrogen water bottle, Kenny. How have you found that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a big like health guy. But Gary Brecka was someone I was
Yeah.
listening to, and he just talks about like, and everything that he just preaches, I just do. I don't even question him. I just freaking do it. Could be wrong, could be right. I don't know. I just fucking do it. He just tells me, I don't question it. But he talked about hydrogen water and the benefits of it. So immediately, instantly, I just bought it.
Nice, because I was actually going to ask you what, because I know you're big on the red light therapy, you're big on hydrogen water, because I follow Gary as well, so I know all about it.
Yeah.
What are some other things you do during your day to actually keep your energy levels up and actually stay in like peak performance state? Like, because we're all behind the computer most of the day, and I know you're big into your health side of things. So how do you kind of manage your energy throughout the day?
100%. Well, first thing in the morning, what I do is a cold plunge. I know like morning routines is like a freaking hit and miss with people in this space. Like people either shit on it or they either like, yo, like morning routine. Like I'm not gonna lie, I do have a morning routine.
Um,
It's nothing crazy like a 2, 3 hour morning routine, but I do need something to get me going. So like I do have like a structure that I follow, and like cold plunge is a part of it. Like I believe that like everybody has a routine, especially like even when athletes before they go play the game, there's a reason why they go to the arena 2, 3 hours before the game to stretch, to get warmed up, to go through the routine. Like there's a reason for that. And so for us, we're in a performance based industry. It's the same fucking thing. So I wake up, I have a routine that I follow. First thing that I do to manage my energy levels, I do the most difficult thing, which is doing a cold plunge. Put some ice cubes in the water, make sure it gets freezing cold, and I jump in there for 5 minutes. And I feel like
five
if you
minutes.
yeah, for 5 minutes.
Jesus.
Jeez.
And I feel like if you can do that, bro, you can do anything. Like you're literally doing the hardest thing. Sometimes I jump in and I catch myself. I'm like walking around in circles because I'm like procrastinating of not wanting to jump in. Right. And I'm like, all right, let me stop being a fucking pussy. Let me just jump in. And then I jump in. That's the first thing that I do. I do a little bit of like yoga and stretching in the morning too, so I can get loose. And then that's where I get started about my day. In the morning is when I have the most energy because that's when I'm starting out the day. I don't eat breakfast, nothing heavy, because once you eat, you get full, you're gonna get tired. But from 9 to like 1 is like where most of my energy is. Now, the real question is how do you actually stay energetic during the middle of the day? Because that's where most people crash. So for me, I don't eat like a carb heavy diet. It's mainly protein, especially during lunch. I only eat carbs at night. So like even the little things like what I eat, I actually pay a lot of attention to it. Like everything has a I pay a lot of attention to everything adds up. So like the diet is very important. Protein heavy. I don't overeat, so I don't feel lethargic. And then what I would also do is go for walks as well to get out of the room, get out of the freaking house, um, from sitting all day. Go for
Yeah.
a walk, especially when it's nice and sunny. Like during the no shows, the reschedules. One thing that JD taught us that really helped me was creating a positive action list, which is
Mm.
basically all of the actions that you can take during no shows or reschedules. So you don't have to think about what you need to do. You literally write down all the good things that can be productive, whether that's filming content, going for a walk, meditating, resting, like whatever that is. Then I would do that, and then that's how you would maintain your energy throughout the day.
And on the topic of overeating, because looking at your posts, one could assume that you eat all the time, or you just jump on something.
I'm surprised you're not eating anything right now, actually. That's what I have to point
The
out.
bowl of rice is under the camera. You can't see it.
Bro, I'm too full right now. But yeah, man, I'm like notorious, known for eating. It just so happens to be honestly, I don't even eat as much as I do from I used to, but it just so happens to be every time we're in trainings, it's like the free time to eat. So I had to get the snacks in.
But I feel like with the snacks, you know, you chomping on something, it's almost like a part of your brand at this point. Wouldn't you say so?
I
You
would say
just
so. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. But
100%.
it's such a smart branding move. Just puts
What?
a smile on my face at least.
Yeah, same here. And I guess I always love seeing you eat a bowl of rice, especially on a call. I guess I know you started the YouTube channel, and I just kind of want to dive into that. Like, what is, because obviously the branding is important, right? You know, if
Yeah.
you don't have a brand, no one knows who you are. You're not going to get your opportunities. What's your end goal with like YouTube?
Yeah. So originally, I actually didn't even have the intention. I always wanted to grow my brand, but I never really had the intention, like, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel on this specific date. Again, it just went back to, I posted that call and I was like, oh shit, I was getting a lot of traction. People were reaching out to me like, bro, how long have you been in sales for? Yada, yada, yada. So then I shared it to one of my friends and he was like, bro, you should just put this on YouTube. I'm like YouTube, okay. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. And then I started thinking about, okay, what would I even want to like make videos about? So for me, like the end goal is, I wanted to kind of do things a little bit outside of the sales space because I know, like, there's so many podcasts like you guys are doing too, and then like, there's so many. It's not
Yeah,
that big of a space to be honest.
Yeah,
Like at
no,
some point, it's gonna get incestuous.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let me.
That's why we try and steer away from that as well a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I'm like, let me stay in the self-development and self-improvement niche, like the motivation, yada yada yada. But let me step away a little bit from sales because I want to be able to reach out like to a bigger audience. So then that way, entrepreneurs, business people, young, hungry, motivated individuals can watch my videos. And
Yeah,
for me, it's really just giving back to people. Like the big goal for me is just to give back to people like the principles, the mindset, the character that I had to become in order to become successful and get to a position where I'm currently at now. I'm still going, like I'm just getting started, but really just giving back to the principles that I've adopted over time. Like that's just the goal for me, where anybody can watch, anybody who wants to improve themselves. That's really the goal for me, to be honest.
I love that.
There's
And I
okay, yeah, there's something I want to tie in, right? Because so we're mentioning YouTube, and also you talked about how you were on impulse with somebody like Gary Brecka and his advice. I know there's a video you speak about where you got to be careful about who you listen to,
Yeah.
right? And I there's something I really wanted to speak about, which is it possible that the people that you trust most can have like the worst advice on a topic?
Could be. Honestly, that's a very good question. It could be. Um, I've seen like speaking of Gary Brecka, like I've seen people like say the complete opposite different things,
Exactly. Yeah.
and it could be the people that I trust the most. So
I
that's
say that just for anybody, right? And like cuz like and also just with our line of work, we're always talking with people who want something, haven't had it yet, and honestly don't really entirely know what it takes to get there,
yeah.
right? So for for anybody like that, uh, how how do you how would you like suggest that they what should they do, or like what will it take for them to like realize, I guess, that maybe what they're listening to might not be the best thing for them.
Yeah. I guess for just analyzing the person that you're listening to. So, like, we'll use Gary Brecka for example.
Right.
The reason why I listen to him, no questions asked, is because number one, he preaches he preaches like what he teaches, right? He follows what he teaches. Um, I look at him physically. I analyze him. He's fit, someone who's fit. He works out, and also his biggest testimonial case study, Dana White, like literally changed Dana's life. I literally seen with my own two eyes from because I'm a big UFC fan. I watch like every single freaking event, and I've seen literally how he changed Dana's. Like I've seen enough case studies and testimonials, and so that's why I'm like, okay, I can listen and trust this guy. But I don't know. Sometimes I could be like what you said is true though, Sam. It's like I could be listening. There's some new things that he could be saying that could be totally off. But which is also a very good point to always continue to keep analyzing who you listen to. But that's how I would, analyze the person. Like, are they where I want to be? Are they who I want to become? Do they have the things that I have? Okay, should I be listening to them? Because that video that I made was more so for like a lot of our times our friends or family or parents, they always tend to give us advice like don't do this, do that, do that,
Yeah.
and they're not where we want to be 99.9% of the times.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so should we be listening to them?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I look back and I feel like a lot of my learnings or teachings or whatever has honestly been like from the internet as a whole,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like, and it's going to be interesting seeing what like future generations like that kind of ratio turns out to be because you see kids growing up with iPads and stuff like that, you know? It's like how much are they really learning from their parents? So, yeah, the spread of information out there is becoming a lot more accessible and a lot more convenient. And it could go either way with what that
100%.
information ends up being.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I like to piggyback a little bit to the mindset aspect of things, like keeping and specifically for me, it's like because this is sales, like sales is sometimes can be rough, business can be rough, life can be rough. When you go into a rut, right? Like when you have that negative experience, I don't know, something's not going as well as you wanted it to go.
Yeah.
How do you then catch yourself and you it reinforces and you change it into a positive outcome? I know you mentioned you don't feel like it's a failure, you don't treat it as a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Well, I
wonder
guess
like how you do it.
the question is, what would you even consider as a negative experience? Like,
I
what would be a
suppose,
rut?
yeah, easiest example could just be like a sales rep. Because we can go into, I don't know, like something bad happened. Maybe you just broke something. Maybe you're not like financially where you want it to be.
Yeah.
You set a specific goal and you just haven't hit it yet. How do you treat those setbacks? And how do you then like do you acknowledge them as setbacks and do you acknowledge them as lessons? Or do you try and just completely ignore it and just keep staying to that positive?
Yeah. Well, for me, I don't, well, number one, I don't even see, like, I don't even really believe in sales ruts or slumps anymore. And the reason why I say that is because when you believe in something, you give it power, right? So, like, if you believe in this sales slump, like, what is even a slump? Like, could it be a day of not selling? Could it be a few days? Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? Like, what is a slump even? It's our own definition of what we classify as a slump. So, number one, like, I don't even like classify like I don't even believe in slumps anymore because it's just cycles. Like we all understand after being in sales for so long, like there's so many ups and downs, which is a lesson that I feel like we all had to learn is how to ride the ups and the downs because it's nothing like a 9 to 5 where you can expect month in, month out you get paid a certain amount. But for me, like if I don't hit certain goals or certain targets, I understand that I'm still working my way towards there. And as long as I'm slowly progressing towards it, like that's all I really care about. So I kind of just focus on the process, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. And then just make adjustments if I'm not hitting my goals. That's it.
And for someone that isn't just there yet with their mindset, like they don't like they still give power to some of their beliefs. how would
Yeah.
you then, I suppose, give them advice on how they can start building on the path that you're at right now, Freddy?
Yeah. Well, first things first, stop believing that there's such things as slumps, because if you believe in slumps, well, the question is like, how do you actually do that? Well, just like what we're going back to before, it's like a muscle that you need to train. You know, anytime that you catch yourself, you have to be really aware of yourself and how you think. That self awareness like can really get you really far. So anytime you catch yourself believing like, oh my God, I'm in a slump, like things aren't going my way, well, you need to stop believing that, because your perception is your reality. And the more you believe into it, the more you're giving it power. So now, if your mindset's not totally there, first of all, that's what I would change in the beginning. Now, next step is just figuring out what actionable, practical steps that you can actually take to be able to meet your goals. You know, let's say like your goal is to hit your first 10K, but you're still at 3, 4K. Like, analyze the situation. Is it the offer? Is there anyone else hitting 10K on the offer? Is it your skill set that you need to change? Do you know what the fuck you're doing or not? Maybe not. Or is it your mindset? You know, do you find that you're not believing in yourself on calls? Like, figure out what is the problem for you, and then find the solution to fix that problem and make the necessary adjustments.
I love that.
Like, I'll give you guys like an example. Like, for myself, I want to hit 20K, and like last month I hit 19K, and I was getting close. But I know for me, it's not a matter of skill set anymore. It's not a matter of belief. It's actually a matter of opportunity, because on one of my offers, I was able to have a really high closing rate, but then I only took 20 calls, about like 23 calls for the month. Like, ideally, I want to take 25 calls a week, which is 5 calls a day. So I knew automatically, like, I don't have enough opportunity. So I'm going to be onboarding another offer this week, actually. So just analyzing, like, what is it that's missing?
Yeah. I think for me personally, it was just like I felt back in the day, like couple of months ago, like when I first started trading with you guys, I had that because I didn't quite understand, like, is it the offer? Is it me? Is it my skill set? I didn't know it, and I just take, I suppose, the responsibility for wherever I'm at. And what it turned out, it was just the offer was just completely like from the ground up. Like it was in its infancy, right?
Yeah.
And it took me a couple of months to, like, what I feel now, like if someone was listening to what you just said, that can give them so much more clarity and actually boost their confidence. How do you, like, on that topic, how do you feel like perspective, like even speaking to someone like yourself, you going through those experiences, how important do you think that can be for like someone that's a beginner? And either do you think it's going to be worth it for them to go for those character building experiences, or would you say it's much better for them to have that perspective of someone like yourself and tell them, like, look, what you're going through is just normal. It's not you. It is just the opportunity or something else.
Yeah. Well, it depends, right? Context is everything, because when you're first starting out, like, beggars can't be choosers. And you might not be in the best opportunity, but if
Yeah.
you might not have the best skill sets either when you're first starting out. So like, you got to take whatever opportunities in front of you and make the best out of it. Now, if you're in that situation, what I'd recommend is that you still stay there so that you can at least practice. Is better than doing nothing, but then continue to keep hunting and looking for better opportunities. So that way, like, you're working not only your skill set, but then also on landing a better offer. So then when your skill set moves up, then you're also getting on a better offer as well.
Makes sense, Kenny. And I know you want to get to 20K, right? And you have been trying to make money online through trading before this and also now closing. And I'm sure there's quite a lot of people who are actually in the same boat, trying to make money online. What would you say to someone who's actually listening to this and they feel like it's not going to work for them?
Um, that feeling is gonna come for sure. Like, it's just fucking normal. I'm pretty sure everybody on this call had that moment where they're this like like this fucking close from quitting. Like, I can tell you guys, I was this close from quitting many times. Like, not just in sales, but like at some point in my time in trading and like in closing, I was like, bro, is this really it? Like, fuck. I just didn't want to do anything in life. Like, nothing felt fulfilling. And so, like, anyone who comes through that moment where like you feel like it's just you want to quit, that feeling's normal. But the difference between the ones who are going to make it and the ones who don't is the ones who don't give up. You know, it's cliche and we all hear it all the time, but literally you need to have resilience and perseverance in this game. And to have that like dog inside of you where I'm actually not going to give up. Like, I always say, yeah, you guys seen that meme where like you take an X-ray and it's like it's that dog in me.
Yeah.
I it's funny you say that. For this Dublin event, I literally bought two shirts
Yeah.
with that's printed on it, and I'm giving one of them to Sean. We're gonna wear it to the event.
You
So
guys,
Yeah.
I knew you guys had the dog in you.
yeah, that's right. That's right, man.
Yeah, like you really need to have that dog in you. Like you really, really, you really need to have that dog in you. You just don't want to give up when you get that close. Like that's the difference between someone who's gonna make it or not.
And how would you say surrounding yourself? Because look, like we all know it. Like when we surround ourselves with the naysayers, people that are settling, I suppose.
Yeah,
How do you think that affects you as a whole? Like, it, even looking at your actions, you obviously still heavily invest in yourself. You just paid a. We don't have to disclose it, but it is a big investment for that 1 month, in Medellin. How how do you feel that is going to affect you? Like actually surrounding yourself with winners, right?
yeah. No, I think that's gonna be a big game changer. Um, because I know we're not. I don't know about you guys, but I know I'm not gonna be like closing for life. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, I want to do something where I'm not exchanging time for money or also continue to keep growing my brand and building. And I think that's like a good gateway for me to open up those opportunities. So that seems like it's always going to be the next step where life is literally a never ending journey of solving problems. And like once that financial problem's figured out, okay, what's the next problem? Is it building the brand? Is it starting to inspire and impact more people? Is it to create more wealth? Like what's the next problem to solve now?
Yeah. I say from experience, I took 1 to 2 months off just to be complacent and try that out. And it was really boring. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I know that all of our day to days are probably boring if someone were to just look at it, let alone. But um, I do find the moments I had the most fun with are the moments where I sense and feel progression in whatever way, whether that's regarding wealth or just health or even relationships.
100%. I saw that reel that you posted. You feel good when you're progressing. I'm like, same, man, same.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's the reason why we're all here now.
Yeah,
I think
So,
that's universal for all of us. It's just that need, because for me, like the moment that I just get completely, I'm not gonna say depressed, because that's not what it is. But when I get a little bit sad and uncomfortable is when I feel like there's no room for growth anymore, and I gotta find another place where I can start seeing that progress. Whether it's even small progress, but
100%. That is why I lose my shit when I have no shows or reschedules because I feel like I'm not taking any calls and not progressing. So when I didn't have like a positive action list, I'm like, bro, what do I even do? I'm just sitting here like doing nothing. Because I couldn't just sit still and do not do anything. Like that progression's so key.
and on that positive list, like positive action list, what would you put like for an average person, like what is considered a positive action?
Meditation, going for a walk, creating content.
Okay.
I would put that up there as well. If someone's starting out training, role playing or doing call reviews, those are the main things I would put. Like, what is it that you want to achieve, and then like the actions that's required to what you want to achieve. I'd throw it in there. It can even be working out too, like doing 10 push-ups if you have no shows or 100 push-ups, whatever.
Yeah, within an hour, that's something you can definitely do even more than that. Yeah. So overall things that actually get you forward instead of just being like a quick dopamine, right?
Hundred
Like that's
percent.
how you mean positive, yeah.
Yeah, because then when we don't write it out or anything like that, like number one, we need to think about what we need to do next, which is gonna take brain power and like, okay, what should I do? What should I do? And
Yeah.
then secondly, like you don't fall into like autopilot where, bro, it's so easy to just grab your phone. Like my phone's literally right here, and like so many times I'd be sitting here, I'm waiting, or like I'm waiting for them to pay. I'm on my phone, like, and then I
exactly.
catch myself. I'm like, bro, why am I even on my phone? I don't even want to be on my phone. But I'm always like looking for that, like, okay, what's new, what's new, like we all got hacked into, our minds have been hacked,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But it's either we use social media as a tool or we get used as a tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When it comes to like your work and outside of work, do you feel like you like switch modes, so to speak, or flip a switch on and off between being on a call and off a call?
That's a good question. To be honest, I don't even know. I've actually been experimenting and like trying this out. I've heard two sides of this. Like hustle culture was like there's no such thing as rest. You need to grind, 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 grind. And then, I've heard the other side, well, like you need to rest because if you can't rest, you cannot freaking perform the next day. And so I've tried both. I don't know. I don't even know if I have an on mode or an off mode, to be honest. I don't fucking know. I have no idea because sometimes I would just continue to keep work, 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 work. But I do feel like that burnout, unfortunately. But on the other side, sometimes when I'm resting, I'm like, I don't feel good when I'm resting because I'm always thinking about work. And then when I'm working, I'm thinking about resting. So I don't even know. I don't really have an on and off switch. I just kind of just do. And yeah, I kind of just do. That's it. There is no on and off.
A blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do like as far as that goes? Like how do you like do you just accept it as a thing or do you just try and progressively balance it out? Like when you work like you like as what I'm referring to is like do you think like you want to improve on that? Like whenever you work you wanna rest and whenever you rest you think about working? Do you think like there's a
Yeah, I do want to improve that. Here's the thing, like I do want to like, understand that, like sometimes at the end of the day, I do want to like shut off so then I can like rejuvenate myself and like bring back, recharge. And then the other side of me sometimes is like, well, like, high performance people need to do whatever it takes. They need to work 12, 16 hours a day. But it's a balance, man. It's really a balance. Like it's I've done that too, and then sometimes it's not sustainable. So it's really a balance that I'm actually trying to figure out too.
and before you wrap up, because I know you gotta go in literally 5 minutes, what is that one thing that you do when you want to recharge? Like you finish the day, now it's time to recharge. What do you do?
Turn off everything, disconnect everything, shut everything off, my computer, my phone, and everything. Go for a walk, and then just go sleep. If sleep was a supplement, it would literally be the best supplement. It would be the best selling supplement in the world. If we can take sleep as a supplement.
Well, look, Kenny, we're gonna wrap this up. Amazing episode. As far as the mindset aspect, I think that was something that I in particular neglected the most because I thought, it's skill set, kind of like we're being taught, skill set, skill set, skill set, opportunities, opportunities, network, network, network. But I noticed from even catching myself as I was watching your YouTube videos, it's like, well, really the biggest difference between like all of us is really what we got here and our outlook on things. And that is what truly makes the biggest difference. So I'd like to thank you for coming on. I'm gonna definitely have to rewatch this. There's a lot of golden nuggets even for myself. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of golden nuggets for your audience, for our audience. And yeah, you
100%.
guys got anything to add?
Where, if people want to
Exactly.
see more of Kenneth Luu, where should they go?
You can find me on Instagram, the real Kenneth Luu, or on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel as well where I just post short videos of like mindset principles. Kenneth Luu on YouTube. Just search up Kenneth Luu on YouTube and you'll find me.
Okay, roger that.
And
Well,
that's a wrap.
that is.
Sorry, Sammy. I was gonna say appreciate you jumping on, Kenny. Like Sam, I got a lot of golden nuggets and a lot of good reminders here and what to do. Just really appreciate you for jumping on. Thanks for giving us your time. And yeah, that's episode 16, is it?
That's
Yeah.
right.
See you
Done
guys
and
next.
dusted.
Done and dusted. See you guys next week.